All right, welcome, guys, and welcome to Let Me Clear My Throat. I am your host, Mike. Good to be back on the podcast. And today I have a special guest, our first official guest to Let Me Clear My Throat. Just blessed to have this guy, friend of mine, been knowing him for a while, named Mike Reginald. Uh, when I first moved to Memphis and started looking for employment, worked at a golf course, and he was my teammate. God looked out for me and trained me in that position, and we've been connected ever since. Mike Reginald, I introduced to you as today. The subject that we're talking about is the playoffs. And we're not talking about football. We're not talking about basketball. We're not talking about SEC. We're not talking about NBA. We're not talking college basketball. We're talking about the FedEx St Jude playoff tournament that is here in Memphis, Tennessee. This an exciting week in general in sports, but for the city of Memphis, the FedEx St. Jude is a big deal, and I'm happy to have Mike Reginald here with me today, who knows so much about golf, way more than I do. I always said uh, that if I had 10% of his game, I would do all right. I would be satisfied with that. And so, in his own special way, I'm allowing Mike to introduce himself and, um, just tell us how you were introduced to golf and who inspired you to play and who are your biggest examples of golf excellence.
Well, I appreciate you having me, Michael. It's very good to be here with you. I guess right off the bat, getting into golf, it was my dad. I guess he signed me up for a tournament when I was, I think, 5.
Right.
So I pretty much just had to go out and play. Ended up winning because I was the only 5-year-old playing in it. So a win by default.
Yeah.
But that kind of
Hey,
got me hooked. And
it's
then
great.
just kept doing it. Growing up here in Memphis, played a lot of junior tournaments, junior PGA, did some AJGA. Um, let's see, some Future World Collegiate Tour. Then ended up playing at the University of Memphis from 2001 to 2006. Then turned pro 2007 and played mini tours for about 5 years, till about 2012. Did Hooters Tour, E-Golf, Tar Heel Tour, a lot of, I guess, and back then it would have been nationwide qualifiers, which is the Corn Ferry Tour now. And then some PGA Tour qualifiers. Didn't ever make it through on the Mondays, but did a lot of qualifying. So, but I guess growing up, some of the guys that I looked up to, I mean, I started when I was young renting Golf My Way by Jack Nicklaus from the library,
Yeah.
VHS. So I'd watch that thing over and over again. And that's kind of where I got my start into like learning how to play. Um, but since he was a little bit older, I guess the people that I looked up to that played on tour, I was a big Phil Mickelson guy. Um, Not as much anymore, but still, like he was my guy growing up. I loved that he was left-handed. Loved his flop shot. Um, he could hit it a mile. He's just fun to watch. He's kind of like Arnold Palmer. Like you never knew what you're going to get, but he was going to swing at it and try his best. Like he's going to do some risky things, but um, he's going to pull it off sometimes too, which was kind of exciting. But that's kind of where I started, and where my career went. Played with a lot of guys that I really enjoyed. Some moved up, some moved on. But it's been a good journey. I've enjoyed it.
That's great. That's great, man. Yeah. So as you can see, guys, we have an experienced golfer here to talk golf with us today. I'm excited about St. Jude. It just brings a lot of excitement to the city, and it just brings a lot of fans. Golf is just one of those uh, quiet hobby
Hmm.
um, that I like to do. I like to watch. I've been probably doing more watching than playing, but very few get the opportunity. We got the opportunity to work together at the golf course at SCR, and one of my favorite parts of the day was in the morning and arriving before the sun came up, looking at the greens, looking at the fairways, and just how peaceful and quiet uh, our surroundings were. Can you talk to us about just the beauty of the game of golf? Which when you step on that field, on that course, what immediately uh, comes to mind, and just how golf has changed your life.
Well, you've already painted a pretty good picture of like how peaceful and serene it could be in the mornings with the dew out there. I mean, you've got
Yeah,
a little bit of fog still hanging around.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, I still remember when I was a kid, I
yeah,
lived off on Stonebridge. So I remember on mornings, my dad would wake me up like really early. I could barely get up, but he got me out of bed, and we would walk to I think it was the 15th hole, and we just hit balls for like 30 minutes out there before anyone else got there. But just walking out there, this is back when we had metal spikes, which I wish we still had.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
Hearing that click on the concrete, it was just like a sound that it's hard to describe. It just it felt good when you
yeah.
hear it. Um, but
It's like an
then,
out of body experience
yeah, and
where
everything's so
everything
quiet.
around you is just silent,
Hmm.
and you hear everything, all the the environment, the birds, leaves, the wind. You just your the awareness around you, and it's just a calm to the game of golf. And
Yeah,
that's what excites me about the game. That's what I think about. Just the beauty of the game. Um, I would say, golf has kind of, in a sense, changed my life because it's allowed me to go to that place even when there is so much chaos around me.
right.
I know I can mentally place myself at a golf course, even though I'm not there, and I can just find quiet.
Hmm.
And
I
so,
even there are things like if I smell some fresh cut grass, if it's a ryegrass, it takes me right back to a course in North Carolina that I used to grow up
oh
going to
yeah,
in the summer, and that smell just takes me there immediately. Like I love it. It's just
awesome.
things like that that it's a great game, and there's so many other things that go along with it. Um, that it does kind of bring that peace and that calm when you're in the middle of a storm, it seems like.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so, as a golfer, your biggest rival, it can be yourself. And so, talk to us about the importance of mental health in golf because there are highs, there are lows, there's playing well versus not playing well, and there's an addictive obsession to golf. You may have a horrible day, but then you have a few good shots, and then you're like, yeah, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna
Uh,
work on that, and I'm
Yep,
gonna, I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna get it good this, the next time, and but as we grow older, there's the obsession for golf versus time spent with family. I think we saw that firsthand with some of the people and customers and guests and members that we work with, and some will come straight out for work, go straight to the golf course and stay all day.
yeah.
But talk to us about I guess the balance that you have to create, and just I guess the mental health of golf.
Yeah, mental it's such a big thing with golf. Like it is so mental. when you're playing great, you don't think you're ever going to hit a bad shot again. And when you're not playing great, you think you might never hit a good shot again. Um,
Mm,
you've got to be mentally strong. You've got to be very patient. Um,
yes,
and
absolutely.
you need to take it easy on yourself because
Yeah.
it's very easy to beat yourself up over
Oh
something that
yeah.
doesn't matter ultimately. Like you hit a little white ball a little bit offline, or it wasn't on the club face where you wanted it, and
Yeah.
then you might just berate yourself for the next 2 days. I don't know, it could be
Yeah.
longer than that, but it's ultimately it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
But you still kind of, I did at least beat myself up pretty often. Because I wanted it really bad. But you have to have a clear head. You have to stay focused. You got to take it one shot at a time. I know it's so cliche, but like just stick to the process, prepare, and then let it go. Just go. So
Yeah.
you got to be mentally tough. You got to be focused, all those things. You also have to put in the work beforehand to
Yeah.
have that confidence to know that you can do it. And then you just got to let it happen.
Yeah. Yeah. That see, it's like think for me sometimes it will be luck. You know, you hit hit a shot. Like I keep thinking of the 17th green at SCR, which seems to be my favorite hole. Okay, par three. I hit a good shot, and it lands on the green, anywhere on the green, and you know all the other tees, all the other holes. I could have hit it left, right, just spraying the field. And man, when I get to that 17th green, it's like my confidence builds up. Get
Hmm.
my iron out, and whoop. But yeah, you're absolutely right about that. Um, so how talking about going back to the St. Jude, because we can go on and on talking about golf shots, and the funny thing about before I go there, the funny thing is I can remember every great shot that I've had. And I
Hmm.
know you've had plenty, but I can think about every every awesome shot, every hole in one. Well, I don't think I had every birdie, every birdie.
Hmm.
Okay, uh, on a major golf course. But okay, back to the FedEx. How big a deal is the FedEx St Jude to the city of Memphis?
It's a big deal. It's been around for a long time. Think
Yeah.
like 1958, something like that. It started. So it's been a tour stop for a very long time. It's 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 a week during the year that you see a lot of people you don't normally get to see very often. If you get out to go to the tournament, it's just fun. You see a lot of people. Everyone's in a good mood. They're excited to be there. It's a great tournament. Raises a ton of money for St. Jude. And it's been it's been around for a long time, so it's doing something very well.
Yeah, yep. What's the fan vibe in Memphis? This being the year that Fred Smith passed away just recently, and we all know his impact and just how big he uh, he gave to the city of Memphis. How do you feel like the fans? What's the fan vibe that you get just driving around or going to different golf courses and especially in Southwind?
I would
What's
say
the
it's growing.
awesome?
It's been interesting the last few years. There's been so many people that talk to me about golf that I would never have thought would be into golf.
Mm,
It's just it's all over the place. When I go to a range, if I go to Vantage Point out in Cordova, it's packed. It'll be 100 degrees out there and
wow.
it's packed. I've been to Top Golf a couple times, and it's always busy.
Yeah.
It's just like everywhere I go,
That's been
people are,
big too. Tops
yeah,
golf. Yeah.
people are wanting to play golf, even if it's not going out and playing 18 holes. There's other fun things to do.
Yeah.
Like Top Golf is one of those. But people just they're excited about it. They like watching it, which I mean that hadn't always been a big thing. But like I know Timber Trust, they have a lot of events out there that I always hear about. But it's just the amount of people now that talk to me about golf is so much more than it used to be. It's fun. I enjoy it. And then like you see things like Happy Gilmore 2 comes out and everybody's talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's just it's a growing vibe, and it's fun to see. It's odd because I'm not used to so many people being into it, but I love it. It's great.
Yeah. And that's exciting. The fact that you said that, it could be 100 degrees out, and we don't like the heat. We know in Memphis we only have two seasons. We only have hot and cold. But the one thing that we will go out and do is we will, if we're, if you love it enough, you're gonna put your money on it.
Hmm.
And golf is one of those things that Memphis fans will put their money, that people will put their money into. And let's talk about the weather. Historically, it's always, FedEx St Jude. It's always hot. It's always hot. It's
Always,
close.
always hot.
This week, we kind of had like a cold front, quote unquote. Uh, but it's been nice and pleasant, And this weekend, I believe it's going to be in the upper 90s, trending. But how does a golfer prepare for the humid, hot weather? Uh, and how can heat affect a golfer's play?
Well, yeah, it is certainly going to be hot this weekend for sure. That's just what happens. Like even like the last few days have been great. Feels like fall and it's like 85 degrees outside.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
but
yeah,
it's going to be warm once the tournament gets going. It was really nice when they had it like late spring, early summer a few years ago. It was only for a couple of years. It was a nice little break. It was still warm, but not as hot as it is now that it's later in the year. But as far as preparing, I remember like players are going to be drinking a ton of water. If
yeah,
they're on the
yeah.
golf course or off the golf course, they're going to be drinking a ton of water.
You got to stay
Um,
hydrated.
Yep, they're going to be staying indoors as much as they can. They're going to get their practice in, but if they feel good about where they're at, they're not going to extend their practice time at all.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to try to get as much rest and stay indoors as much as they can. I know when I was out traveling on mini tours, if it got to be too hot, I would get in a little bit of work, but if there was nothing like really bad going on, I would go see a movie, just stay inside,
Yeah,
rest, drink a lot of water, and make sure I'm not overextending myself because it's a long week, especially for these guys. They
yeah,
got a pro-am, they've got to do all day, and then four grueling rounds, no cut. So they got a long week ahead of them, and Southwind's not an easy course. It's a grind. So
yeah,
uh, they better be prepared.
yeah. They better be prepared. Players and caddies. And so, when was the last time you played Southwind, and what's your favorite hole, and what's the most challenging hole?
I played it. I think it was last fall, I believe, right before they did some revamping of the golf course.
Okay. Wow.
So
Okay.
it's gonna be interesting to see this year now that they've finished everything up,
Yeah.
with kind of resurfacing the greens and
Yeah.
changing up the grass around the greens so you can run them up a little bit easier.
Okay.
So I'm interested to see how receptive the greens are going to be because anytime you resurface a green, they're usually pretty firm once they open them up for play.
Yeah.
So that's going to be tough if they're firm out there
That
because it's
makes it
already a
very
tough course.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, as far like my favorite hole out there, I really love 15 and 16. They're kind of tucked away in the corner, in the back corner of the course. It's it's a lot more peaceful back there and kind of isolated. And I just love like 15's a fun hole and 16's a fun hole. But I would say the hardest hole is 14 right before you get to 15, 16. 14's
Yeah,
so hard. It's always playing one of the toughest par threes on tour every single year. It's just it's long and it's not easy with that water on the right and that sliver of a green you're hitting
yeah,
into. Um, but yeah, it's a tough course. Interested to see how it's going to play this year with all the revamping of the course.
yeah. That makes it interesting. Anytime changes are made to a course. I remember when SCR made changes,
Hmm.
and I mean, it made a big difference. And I
Huge.
mean, even for me, not playing, not a great golfer at all, just watching and observing the players and just being available to the players and members and guests and hear them talk about it and witness it myself. It does make the game exciting and challenging. Um, which leads me to my next question about the caddies. The second most important person on the course is the caddy. In some sense, they're often forgotten uh, in this whole process, but they're more than bag carriers. They
There
carry
is
a
so
lot of
much
weight
more.
and a lot of responsibility. So talk to us about the responsibilities of the caddy, just the relationship, the trust. You gain a lot of confidence from the information of the caddy, especially since you have golfers or caddies that may not have played Southwind before, and
Hmm.
they may be just viewing it for the first time, or you know, I'm sure they get a chance to play, uh, you know, before the tournament actually begins. But just talk to us about that.
Yeah, they'll be out walking the course several times, especially if they're not familiar. A lot of the guys will also walk it backwards so they can see kind of where the angles are coming into the green.
Yeah,
Because you can find better ways to play a hole if you're looking at it from the opposite way to see where everything kind of opens up. Um, but yeah, they'll be out there doing their homework, making notes, checking on how the green reacts. Just every little detail. They don't want to leave anything to chance. They want to know if their player has a question, they want to have an answer. They don't want to be just guessing.
yeah,
Um, but they're going to be it, checking the forecast regularly.
yeah,
They're going to know wind directions every day.
yeah,
There's a lot that goes into caddying, and it's not just carrying a bag, but even carrying the bag is hard because that thing is not
yeah.
light.
You're walking
Um,
the course, and
you're
and you're
walking,
doing probably more walking than the golfer himself
yeah.
sometimes.
Absolutely. And you're having to keep up and also
Yeah,
like maintain the course. You're raking bunkers, you're filling in divots,
yeah,
washing balls, washing clubs, and
yeah,
making sure you're keeping pace with your player that as soon as he hits a shot, he's gone. If he hits a
yeah,
bad shot, he throws his club at you and he's walking and you're you're left
yeah,
behind trying to catch up and it's
yeah,
going to be 100 degrees and they're
yeah,
lugging this heavy bag and cleaning clubs and trying to make sure that they're keeping up with their player and keeping them playing well, have good attitude,
yeah,
keeping them loose, focused.
yeah,
There's a lot that goes into it, even off the golf course. I know not every player is going to be hanging out with their caddy the whole time, but some of the players will. And that relationship off the golf course helps on the golf course. So, I mean, you've seen there's been a lot of switch ups this year with caddies, stuff that I didn't think I would see. Like Joel Damon and Colin Morikawa, Justin Thomas. There's been a lot of people that are looking for something to switch it up just to give them a little bit extra because they're just not quite clicking. And sometimes it's just changing a caddy.
yeah.
Even like Phil
It's
and Bones
interesting.
worked together forever. And late in his career, he went, I guess he had his brother on the bag. And Bones has kind of hopped around from commentating to caddying. But yeah, I mean, they're very important, and
Yeah,
you got to have them if you're on tour.
yeah, and yeah, that's interesting. Because I remember when, and I'm sure it still goes on. And well, I know it still goes on. But when Tiger Woods switches up caddy, it's a big deal. You
Hmm.
know, it's huge. It's
It's
news.
news. Yeah.
And so caddies are extremely important. Um, I know you mentioned you're going to be caddying on Wednesday, I believe, right? Correct.
Yep. I'm gonna be
And
caddying in the
so,
pro am.
yep, the pro am. That's always exciting to see so many different groups of people. Um, I know the overflow is going to be outrageous. Uh, let's talk about Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods, at least to my knowledge, has never graced the greens in Memphis. Uh, but what do you think his impact would have been if he came to this event during his prime years? I know that Memphis came before a major, and there was a reason why. He was always preparing for the major as opposed to, I guess, little Memphis tournament.
Yeah. That's
um,
back when it was right before the
yeah,
US Open, the
yeah,
week before.
yeah,
And I don't think you could measure the impact that he would have on this city if he came here. He is the biggest draw in golf,
yeah,
and he is very much held in high regard with people here in Memphis. Um, there's so many people that are huge Tiger fans that probably even started the game because of him that
yeah.
would absolutely be at that tournament watching him if he
Oh,
were here. It would be such a big
10
draw.
times the crowd amount.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes. It would be insane how large his crowds would be if he had come in his prime. Like, there's no telling the impact he would have had if he had come. And it's kind of sad that he never did,
yeah,
just because it's such a great tournament. And
yeah,
it's a long-standing stop on tour. I mean, it's gone through a couple different formats, but it's been a yearly stop. Um, for the PGA Tour, and to have him here would have just been absolutely huge. But at the same time, being the week before the U.S. Open, it did bring over some really high-ranked Europeans. Phil Mickelson started coming, which he wasn't
yeah,
wanted to come here either. So it did bring in some bigger players,
yeah.
just never Tiger,
BJ,
unfortunately. Yep.
yeah. Just they. I mean, this field is star-studded. I'm gonna bring up the players. Some of the players we got: uh, Cam Davis, Jason Day, Matt Fitzpatrick, Fleetwood, Ricky Fowler. Uh, we got Scheffler, of course, Scotty Scheffler, and Justin Rose. I mean, this field is loaded with players. Justin Thomas is in the field. Some of the greatest golfers in the world are descending on Memphis this weekend, and I think it's awesome. And even though they may not be able, they don't carry the weight of Tiger or the fanfare, I guess, of Tiger. I don't think fans realize how extremely fortunate we are each and every year of the people that outside of Tiger. And I guess Rory not coming. He's the number two player in golf right now, and Scheffler obviously is number one. He's had an amazing year. He's been fun
Hmm.
to watch. He's made golf look so easy. Um, I mean, to go course, tournament to tournament, and just to be winning them just seamlessly easy. You know, um, it would have been great if Rory was here, but uh, should
It
fans
would have
feel
been great.
about Rory not being here?
Well, the thing is, he made it pretty clear a long time ago he wasn't coming this week. more than likely, just because of the way his schedule works. He doesn't play well here. I don't know if it's the course, the heat, but the fans aren't going to be missing out on anything. Sure, it would be great if he were here, but if like when he makes a decision that far in advance not to
Hmm.
come here, then if he does come here, he's probably not going to be in the best mindset, so he's not going to be at the top of his game either. Um, and there's so many other great players out there
Yeah.
that it's going to be a great tournament,
Oh yeah.
with or without him.
Yeah.
And it's nothing that he did to slight Memphis. It's just a decision he made a long time ago.
Yeah.
So it's the golf's going to be great. Um, there's so many good players in the field. It's going to be a good week.
It's going to be a great week. It's going to be a great week. It is. So let's put yourself in the position of the professional golfer, a professional. You are a professional golfer. Your mindset going into this tournament. I'm just going to create a scenario. You're the
Okay.
hometown kid. You've been playing golf your whole life. South wind. You're on the first tee. You're preparing. You're practicing. What is that moment for you when you step on tee number one?
Well, hopefully I put in the work preparing, um, to where I can just let it happen when I get there. But it starts like basically from the moment you get up. You've got your routine.
Yeah.
It's going to be different for a lot of guys, but mainly it's going to be you've got your outfit you already picked out. You got to load up your bag with everything you need, your snacks, water bottles, everything that you normally take with you. Then as soon as you get to the course, you're going to be warming up. You're going to be getting loose. A lot of the guys now are getting out an hour earlier than normal to stretch.
Mhm.
They got their physio guys, so they're getting loosened up, and then they're going to go warm up on the range, just get a feel for how the body's reacting that day. Is everything good? Make sure your ball flight's where you want it. You're going to go through the bag from wedges to driver,
Yeah.
um, and then you're going to hit the short game area, get a few chips in, a few bunker shots, make sure your feel's down. You got to feel for the speed, how it's reacting. And then you're going to hit some putts. Again, you're working on your feel. Can I get my speed down? Make sure my pace is good on my putts. Do I feel like I'm hitting it square? Um, at this point, you probably don't want to be working on anything too technical because you're about to go
Yeah.
play. So really, you're
Yeah.
just getting a feel for things and staying loose. You, your last drive is probably going to be the first shot you're going to hit on the course,
Mhm.
just so you can see that ball flight, make sure it's going to do what you want it to do. And then you're ready, just tee it up and let it go.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. Um, so with this tournament coming up, who do you have winning the Southwind and why?
Man, if Scheffler's in the field, you got to pick him at this point, just because of the game he has and the year he's having. Like if he's in a tournament right now, you've got to pick him. Um, that being said, if he's not on the table, there's some other guys that definitely have a real shot at winning. Daniel Berger has some historical success around Southwind, so he's always the guy to look at when he tees it up here. Uh, Not the best year of his career. Still, he's battled some injuries in the last few years. But if he's playing at Southwind, I'm always going to be looking at him. Harris English is another one. He's coming off of a good finish at the Open Championship. Um, he plays well at Southwind. And then you get some Europeans. Fitzpatrick's playing well, coming off a decent finish last week. Fleetwood's always a contender.
Yeah.
Hovland seems to show up during the playoffs. And like Sepp Straka's had a pretty good year, started really strong. He plays well here. And then like Xander, like you can always count on him to play well. So there's some guys that can contend, but at the end of the day, you got to pick Scheffler. If you're asking me to pick one player, it's got to be Scheffler just because of
Yeah,
the year he's had and his game.
yeah. That's kind of where my pick was to the Scheffler. It's just and it's hard to pick against him. He's
Yeah,
played so well. I mean, he's got a mountain of a lead in the FedEx Cup standings, and he's definitely going to be a fan favorite. And it's going to be an exciting
it
weekend
is.
in the city of Memphis and the FedEx St Jude. We'll go ahead and just give a shout out to everyone at Southwind, the fans. We want y'all to stay safe out there. You yourself, I know you're caddying in the program.
Hmm.
Enjoy yourself, have fun, and don't wear yourself out
Yeah, I'm gonna try.
when
I'm
you're
gonna have
having
a
a
lot
good
of
week.
fun. I'm gonna drink a lot of water.
Yeah,
I'm just really excited. I can't wait to see who we're paired with later tonight. So it's gonna be fun. I can't wait.
great, awesome, awesome. Well, that will conclude our our podcast on "Let Me Clear My Throat." Again, Mike Reginald, our first official guest to the "Let Me Clear My Throat" podcast. Man, so happy to have you. I appreciate you, brother. Love you. Uh, enjoy yourself. Enjoy your weekend, fans. Take it in. Watch it on television. Go down there if you have opportunity. Experience and experience golf. For some people, this will be their first experience at for a golf tournament, and it's a great environment for kids. You know, Stephen A. Smith a couple of weeks ago was talking about players saying they didn't want to come to play for the Grizzlies because of how unsafe it is. Well, go to these sporting events in Memphis. Just go out there and watch. Watch some golf this weekend and participate. This is great for kids, great for everybody. And of course, you're being outdoors. Stay hydrated. Take your water. Take your chair. And bring just a great positive attitude and vibe when you go to Southwind. Thank you, Mike. Again, it's the FedEx St Jude
Thanks for having me, Michael.
FedEx
Love you,
champion in
brother.
Southwind. Enjoy. Thank you, Mike.
All right.